Hi bookworms, this is Mrs. K. Are you ready for a story today? Welcome back, bookworms. Today I'm going to read a non-fiction book about a special holiday, Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa began in 1966 as a new holiday like the African festivals of long ago. So let's learn more about it. Kwanzaa is a family celebration, a special holiday. The month of December is filled with celebrations. Christmas and Hanukkah are two holidays that are popular at this time of year. There's also a special holiday celebrated by many African Americans. It is called Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a time when African American families gather to remember their history and look forward to their future. Children listen to stories about their African ancestors, sing African songs, and feast on African foods. The holiday is filled with ceremonies, music, friends, and gift-giving. This grandmother reads a Kwanzaa story to her grandchildren. How Kwanzaa began. Many holidays have been celebrated for hundreds of years. Kwanzaa, however, has only been a part of family tradition since the 1960s. The ideas behind Kwanzaa began in Africa. Long ago, Africa was filled with great kingdoms, art, music, and traditions. One of these traditions was harvest festivals. Villagers all over Africa farmed the land. At the end of a good season, people celebrated to give thanks for their crops. African ancestors tilled the soil above and later celebrated the harvest with drums and singing to the right. Africans were forced from their homeland and sold as property. Well, Europeans came to Africa and captured many black Africans. They sold the Africans as slaves. And in the United States, the slaves were forced to work on slave owners' farms. The slaves were treated like property instead of people. The slaves lost many of their African traditions. Slaves worked hard in the cotton fields. Well, not everyone in the United States agreed with slavery. It was popular in the South, where there were many farms, but many people in the North were against slavery. Once slaves, these men fought as U.S. soldiers during the Civil War. So, the North and South fought the American Civil War from 1861 to 1865. The North won, and soon slavery was against the law. But black Americans still were not treated as well as white Americans. And in the 1960s, many blacks were finally able to gain the same rights as white people. During this time, a man named Dr. Maulana Karenga was an African American leader. He thought a holiday would be a good way to help. Well, today African Americans honor leaders of the past, such as Dr. Martin Luther King, who helped them share the same rights as white people. African Americans create strong families, learn their history, and unite as a group of people. Dr. Karenga created a new holiday that was like the African harvest festivals of long ago. And in 1966, he created Kwanzaa. The word Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits of the harvest. Swahili is an African language. At a Kwanzaa concert, candles add warmth and joy. The meaning of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa lasts 7 days from December 26th to January 1st. Several million people celebrate Kwanzaa in the United States, Canada, England, the Caribbean, Africa, and other countries around the world. Kwanzaa is based on 7 principles or important ideas. This boy is helping his dad make a special candle holder called a kinara. They are called the Inguso Saba. Each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa is centered around a different principle. The principles are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Unity means the coming together of the family, the community, and all African Americans. Self-determination means that one will stand up for oneself and decide one's own future. Collective work and responsibility means to work with others and help solve problems together. Volunteers help serve food at a soup kitchen. That's wonderful. Cooperative economics means support businesses run by African Americans. Purpose means remembering the traditions of past African relatives. This man buys a t-shirt at the Harlem Mall in New York City. A beautiful mural gives the neighborhood a sense of pride. Creativity means making the community beautiful. Faith means believing in family leaders and other African Americans. It also means having faith in oneself and dreams for the future. The 7 principles. These are the Swahili words for the 7 principles, or Nguzo Saba. Umoja, unity. Kujikagulia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kumba, creativity. Imani, faith. Each candle stands for one of the principles celebrated during Kwanzaa. Symbols of Kwanzaa. When a family sets a Kwanzaa table, it includes 7 important items. First, the family lays down a straw placemat. This mat symbolizes African tradition. Next, a candle holder, called a kinara, is placed on the mat. It holds 7 candles. Each candle stands for one of the 7 principles. There's 1 black candle in the center, 3 red candles on the left, and 3 green candles on the right. Red, green, and black are also the colors of the African American flag. The kinara is fully lit on the last day of Kwanzaa, as you can see there. The family places fruit on the table to remind them of the African harvest festivals of long ago. An ear of corn for each child in the house is also put on the table. The family takes out a cup called the Unity Cup. It will be used during a special ceremony. Finally, the table may also hold gifts for the children. The gifts are meant to encourage the 7 principles. Up here it says the Unity Cup is shared to honor ancestors and remember their good deeds. The Kwanzaa Table. The 7 symbols on a Kwanzaa table include Mikika, a straw placemat, Kinara, a holder for 7 candles, Mishuma, the candles, Matzo, the fruit, Muhidi, an ear of corn for each child in the home, Kikoamba Kocha Mija, a unity cup, and Sawadi, gifts. Hopefully I said those right. How families celebrate. Each day of Kwanzaa may start with a question. One person asks, Habari Gani, which means, what is the news? The other person answers with the principle of the day. Usually before dinner or a leader calls the family together. Now each family member takes part in the nightly celebration. Well, they gather around the Kwanzaa table. The children then light the candles on the kinara. First they light the black center candle, then the other candles are lit. On the first day of Kwanzaa, the center candle is lit, and then one of the red candles on the left. The next night, the center candle is lit, and the one on the left, and then the one of the green candles on the right. This continues back and forth over the nights until all the candles are lit on the last day of Kwanzaa. After the children light the candle of the day's principle, each person takes a turn talking about the importance of the principle. They may talk about what the principle means to them. They may tell a traditional folktale or a story of a famous African American. They may even sing an African song. Stories about great African Americans of the past are read. An important part of Kwanzaa is remembering ancestors. To honor great people of the past, the leader uses the unity cup to pour juice or water into a bowl, and then he drinks from the cup and says, Harambe! Everyone repeats Harambe 7 times. Now, drinking the unity cup together gives a special meaning to the ceremony. Well, after everyone repeats Harambe 7 times and drinks from the cup, Harambe means let's all pull together. Family members call out names, and everyone thinks about the important values taught by these people. Next, gifts may be given. Sometimes gifts are saved for the last night of Kwanzaa. The gifts are not simply toys or games. They have special meaning and refer to the principle of the day. Many times the gifts are homemade, educational, or cultural. After the ceremony is finished, the family sits down to a meal together. Now these children admire an African item made long ago. Above, someone might receive an ankh, a symbol of life, as a Kwanzaa gift. The Kwanzaa song. Families may sing the Kwanzaa song as part of their celebration. Kwanzaa is a holiday. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 principles, 7 candles, 7 black days for the African Kwanzaa, Yenu, Iwi na Here. Happy Kwanzaa. Many voices make the Kwanzaa song sound even happier. The final feast. The week of family celebration leads up to the biggest party of Kwanzaa, the Karamu. It is a large feast held on the night before the last day of Kwanzaa, December 31st. Family and friends gather for an evening of good food, dancing and music, storytelling and speeches. It is an important time to pass on African traditions and celebrate African culture. Dancing at a public Kwanzaa celebration. Food is an important part of the celebration. People eat African dishes, often from all parts of Africa. Everyone takes part in preparing the meal. Dig in. It's fun eating African style. So you just dig into the bowl. I love it. The food might include millet, spiced pepper balls, or beni cakes. Beni means sesame seeds. They're eaten for good luck. This feast includes a baked ham center marked with a K for Kwanzaa. The next day, the last day of Kwanzaa, the principle of faith is discussed. This includes faith in the African American community as a whole, as well as faith in oneself and one's dreams for the future. Children are always reminded that even though it is January 1st, the spirit of Kwanzaa does not end. The principles celebrated during Kwanzaa are not just for the holiday, they're to be a part of life every day of the year. A children's choir prepares for a church concert. And you can always find out more by looking at these books or these sites. Well, bookworms, I hope you learn more about Kwanzaa. It's always important to be informed of everyone's special traditions and holidays so you can appreciate their heritage. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. That way you know when my next video is available. See you next time.